welcome to the program. I am Bukola Koka, and we start off immediately with the top stories. One person was killed by gunmen thought to be repentant Boko Haram insurgents at Barka da Sazua, a notorious black spot in Maiduguri, where hardened criminals dismissed soldiers, prostitutes, drug dealers, and other criminal elements who carry out nefarious activities. Dressed in military uniforms and carrying dangerous weapons, the assailants attacked the Ibrahim Taiwo Police Headquarters, housing the area command and the divisional headquarters along Baga Road in Maiduguri, in an attempt to free some of their members who were arrested during a drug raid on a black spot known as Kasuwamfara along Gubio Road. The erstwhile repentant terrorists were arrested by operatives of the Joint Task Force while abusing drugs and engaging in other illegal activities at Kasuwamfara, a location shut down by the state government for harboring criminals and encouraging criminality in the neighborhood. According to an eyewitness in Baga Road, the insurgents stormed Barka da Zua and started displaying weapons, killing one person while several others escaped with injuries. The police command in the state, led by Ibrahim Taiwo, reportedly restored normalcy that night, but still a joint task force led an operation to Barka da Zua and Kasuwamfara along Gubio Road in the following morning, where the arrested suspects, including the erstwhile repentant insurgents who were at the crime scene at that time. More on security. As part of efforts to secure Nigeria's critical national information infrastructure through counterterrorism and violent extremism strategies, strengthen national security and protect economic interests, the National Security Advisor, Alhaji Nuhu Ribadu, is calling for the full implementation of the Cyber Crimes Prohibition Prevention Amendment Act 2024, including the operationalization of the National Cybersecurity Fund by all regulators and businesses specified in the second schedule of the Act. In a statement signed by the Head Strategic Communication Office of the National Security Advisor, Mr. Zachary Mijinyawa, on the 6th of July 2022, Nigeria joined 66 other countries that have signed and ratified the Budapest Convention on Cybercrime to enhance international cooperation, provide a common platform and procedural tools for efficient and safe cyberspace pursuant to Section 41, subsection 2, subsection A of the Cybercrime Act 2015, requiring conformity with the cybercrime and cybersecurity laws and policies with regional and international standards. The statement adds that this is further emphasized by one of the resolutions reached during the high-level African International Counterterrorism meeting, which held in Abuja between April the 22nd and 23rd, 2024, which called for improved deployment of more resources towards strengthening cybersecurity activities in Africa and taking concrete steps to prevent the use of social media by terrorists and organized criminal groups. Shell Nigeria Gas has signed an agreement with the Oyo State government to build gas supply and distribution infrastructure to industrial and commercial users in the state. In the 20-year agreement, SNG will build and operate the gas distribution network, which will serve customers across Oyo State. The project will start with the construction of gas distribution infrastructure along a 15-kilometer pipeline route and will grow to deliver up to 60 million standard cubic feet of gas per day across the state. And now to human development. While the conversations for a new minimum wage for workers in Nigeria rage on, the Nigerian Governors Forum says it is yet to arrive at a consensus on what the states can sustainably pay. In a statement issued by the chairman of the forum, Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, it notes that the 37-member tripartite committee for the national minimum wage is yet to conclude its work. And as members of the committee, the governors are reviewing their fiscal space to see the consequential impact of the various recommendations. However, the governors say they remain committed to the process and promise that better wages will be the invariable outcome of ongoing negotiations. Meanwhile, organized labor has submitted a proposal of 615,000 naira monthly wage for workers, urging the federal government to approve same. And starting in Imo now, issues of epileptic power supply may, in no distant time, become a thing of the past in Imo State, following the signing into law of the new Imo electricity bill by the governor, Hope Uzodimma. And according to him, all 27 local government areas in the state will soon begin to enjoy uninterrupted power supply. Speaking at the executive chambers in Owerri, the state capital, after signing the bill into law, the governor says his administration has already entered into an agreement with an Egyptian firm, El Swedi Power Generation, for the generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity to all parts of the state within the next 8 months.
Members of the Imo State House of Assembly are here at the Government House, Owerri, for the signing into law of the Imo State Electricity Bill by Governor Hope Uzodimma. The arrival of the governor signals the commencement of this all-important event. Straight to work, the governor is presented with the document for assent. After signing the bill into law, the governor speaks on the importance of the bill and how it will change the face of power generation in the state.
Today marks another milestone in the development of our dear Imo State, as we have taken our prosperity agenda to another notch through these bills. The Imo State electricity law will bring rapid developments to not only our rural communities, to the urban centers.
Earlier, the governor and his team of development partners had embarked on an inspection tour of the 378 megawatts Egbema power plant in Ohaji Egbema local government area of the state, a federal government project conceived under the Niger Delta Power Holding Company and abandoned since 2006. According to the governor, to make power generation a success story, the federal government has graciously granted the state's request to take over the Egbema power plant, rehabilitate the facilities, and rely on same to solve the electricity challenge of the state in line with the renewed hope agenda.
Recently, I've approached the federal government to partner with the Imo State government and our partners to take over this plant. In the wisdom of Mr. President, I think he is almost there. Only the necessary processes are being carried out. The narrow proper handover and operations. Part of the reasons for this inspection is to see the extent to which the job has been completed, identify the gaps where things have to be done, and also be able to determine future challenges that may impair the seamless completion of the project. And then a very bold decision will be taken for us to create a win-win situation for all parties involved.
The governor says he is optimistic that in 12 months, Imo State's story with regards to effective power generation, supply and consumption will be positively different.
Meanwhile, Governor Uzodimma has established a monitoring and evaluation unit to assess his appointees on a quarterly basis. According to him, it is part of measures to monitor the performance of every public office holder in Imo State. The governor was speaking at the swearing-in ceremony and inauguration of new commissioners and special advisors at the Government House in Owerri, the state capital. He says there shall be quarterly performance evaluation exercise of respective portfolios, and anyone who scores below average will be considered a failure and shown the way out.
The Ndubusi Kanu Executive Chambers of the Government House in Owerri has come alive again with cheering political appointees waiting to be sworn in and inaugurated as commissioners and special advisors. Upon arrival at the venue, the first set of appointees to be sworn in by Governor Uzodinma are the Secretary to the State Government, Cosmas Iwu, Chief of Staff and his deputies, as well as the Chief Press Secretary. Next to take their oath are commissioners. And then the inauguration of special advisors. Addressing the newly sworn-in and inaugurated appointees, Governor Uzodinma reiterates his administration's commitment to fighting corruption and upholding tenets of integrity, transparency, and accountability in governance. He speaks on the measures put in place by his administration to monitor the performance of all public office holders in the state.
I'm sure you will all still recall my promise that a monitoring unit has been set up in my office to monitor the performance of every public office holder in the state. I still stand by this. There shall be a quarterly performance evaluation exercise of your respective portfolios, benchmarked against our existing criteria. Any score below a B average will be considered a failure. Therefore, as you are being deployed to the various ministries and agencies, departments of government, please do well to ensure that you operate based on the civil service rules and guidelines and other extant laws.
While appreciating the governor for the privilege to serve, some of the newly sworn-in appointees promised to be diligent in their respective duties in accordance with the shared prosperity agenda for the state.
It's a journey of commitment, a journey of service. Some of us have, we're coming from areas of skill sets and experience. So we wish to bring that to bear in supporting the governor to move the state forward.
The governor has already set the time frame and the work schedule, and he says that everybody should be up to speed with him and that we must redouble our efforts. We have to work harder. So it calls for harder work. So we're going to work very hard because this is a man, His Excellency, who wants to leave a legacy. And so anybody joining his team must be determined to work extra hard, as he's also working extra hard to deliver even more dividends to the people of Imo. So that's what we are prepared to do.
19 special advisors were inaugurated and 24 commissioners were sworn in, including the governor, who is also serving as the interim commissioner of lands. Eyitokwa Channels Television News.
The Enugu state government says the provision of adequate security and healthcare is in top gear ahead of the 2024 edition of the state half marathon scheduled for tomorrow, May the 4th, within the state's metropolis. According to the Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, Barrister Lloyd Ukwerimadu, the half marathon would traverse the city and parks in the state city center and encourage motorists to ply alternative routes. He further explains that the marathon is part of government's efforts at promoting a sporting culture and fitness in the state and reduce weight-related diseases amongst the teeming population. In this competition, both male and female winners would go home with the sum of 1 million naira each, with the first and second runners-up in both categories winning the sum of 500 and 300,000 naira, respectively.
I'm pleased to announce that preparations are in high gear for the half marathon on the 4th of May 2024. Everything is in place. Health and safety have been taken care of. Security, of course, is paramount. And this marathon is an example of one of those cases where we're having people coming in from all over the country to participate. Various teams, various states are fronting teams, have registered teams that will be participating and competing in the half marathon. We have various associations, we have foundations and non-governmental organizations who are sending teams in for this. And these people will all come into Enugu State and spend money here, and these things contribute to our GDP.
Farmers in the 21 local government areas of Anambra State under a community-based cooperative group have received yam seedlings ahead of the 2024 planting season. The coordinator of the cooperative, Mr. John Bosco Onunkwo, who is distributing the seedlings, notes that the essence of everyone getting involved in agriculture is to provide more options to escape food crisis and poverty. Similarly, the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Foster Ihejiofo, urges Anambra farmers to take seriously the trainings on climate crisis to enable them carry out best practices for a bountiful harvest.
Yam is considered a very vital food crop in Anambra State, and the climate here allows for favorable cultivation of the food known as the king of crops in Igbo land due to its value. Yam is usually cultivated alongside vegetables.
So this is the starting point.
With the farming season about to begin in the state, farmers in the 21 local government areas of Anambra under the community-based cooperative group have been empowered with yam seedlings to add to theirs for the 2024 farming activities.
Distribute to the whole 21 local government and also to some communities.
Farmers in the state have been enjoying support from both the government and private individuals.
I am a farmer and I know what it takes to empower a person with the seed lamb of this nature. This is what we called Mumuye. Before next 3 or 4 months, you will see this yam, it has increased. So we are happy.
As chief, I'm going to farm. I have my own farm. I'm cultivating cassava. I want to invest cassava and poultry. So now everybody is going to want to feed ourselves. So we know that as time goes, before the end of the year, this will be okay.
Highlighting the importance of agriculture, the coordinator of the cooperative believes everyone should explore farming.
We'll make sure we follow them up to the point of cultivation, to the point of nurturing, to the point of removing of the weeds, and even if fertilizer is needed, we provide fertilizer to teach them how to cultivate and harvest bountifully. But what is happening is a practical thing. White-collar job is no longer in existence much. What we're doing now is blue-collar job. Rededicating ourselves to rediscover our roots. We are thinking home, we are thinking soil, we are thinking agriculture to make sure that people wipe away hunger. We have to solve this problem by ourselves.
In a similar development, the Commissioner for Agriculture has asked the farmers to get further training in order to adapt to changes.
We started preparing from last year. We've been teaching them, empowering them with knowledge on best practices that will be resilient given the climate crisis that we face, the erratic nature of rains that we have, and the heat waves that we face. So the most fundamental thing is for the farmer to understand how to manage these climatic distortions in such a way as to still be able to obtain good yields and enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Meanwhile, farmers decry grazing and climate disruptions as major setbacks to successful cultivation and harvesting of the crop.
Meanwhile, the Chukwuma Soludo-led administration in Anambra is currently laying a 2,000-kilometer fiber optics duct for high internet speed across the state. The infrastructure, which is expected to catalyze fiber optic systems, will form the bedrock for ICT systems in the new cities and industrial parks that are currently being designed in the state. It will expand broadband access, fully digitize government services, and support technology startups. With the ongoing laying of a 2,000-kilometer fiber optics ducts, Governor Soludo is confident that his administration will create an ICT ecosystem where its young ICT talents would create unicorns and export their talents abroad. For more on this initiative, we have joining us the chairman, Anambra Physical Planning Board, Mr. Chike Maduekwe, who is here to educate us on how government is introducing ICT in flood control as well. Hello and welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we're glad to have you. First of all, how is the State Physical Planning Board utilizing technology to detect and mitigate flooding in the state?
Well, thank you. The challenge of flood in Anambra, Mr. Governor has, given directives on how it should be tackled, and it's a multi-agency initiative. Here in Fiscal Planning Board, one of the first things we did when Mr. Governor assumed office was to completely, open up the drainage channels so that, because most of the problem of flooding is caused by blockage of this channel. So we've opened it up. Government is also working on completing the master plan for, the drainage master plan for the state. Recently, my agency hosted a German NGO, and the topic of the workshop was how we can develop flood resilience strategies, especially in the flood-prone areas. So it's ongoing. There's continuous desilting of the waterways. When we also started, we completely removed all houses that were built on waterways. So right now, when the floods come, they flow through. It's a challenge that is being very substantially mitigated, and government is also working with the UNDP in developing a master plan for flood resilience initiatives.
Interesting, the technology potential shows, that the possibilities inherent when you think outside the box. But moving on to other aspects of ICT development in the state, what is the significance of the ongoing laying of a 2,000-kilometer fiber optics duct in the state, particularly in relation to the governor's focus on technology?
You will agree with me that Mr. Governor has done so much. What we are doing in Anambra, I can tell you just 2 days ago, Abia State has joined Anambra in laying this fiber superhighway underground. It's called open access. And open access means that you dig once. So every telco comes in, the provider of the ducts is not a telco company, and then the telcos come in, lease those ducts. It makes their business easier. It's cheaper for them, and then we save the infrastructure of the state. So it's an initiative that many people have applauded globally. Also, every United Nations, most reports I've seen has shown that a 10% to 20% increase in high-speed broadband leads to 1.5% to about 2% increment in GDP. So what Mr. Governor wants is to create opportunities for young tech, experts to expand their talents and earn money. You can work from anywhere. Lots of the companies we know in the UK, in the US, and so on, when we have high-speed internet, young people can work from home and work for those people all over the world. I remember many years ago when I didn't even understand the broadband thing. I will call my bank in London, Lloyd's Bank, and somebody says, yes, how can I help you? I didn't know then that person that is trying to help me answer that call from my branch in London is in India. So once you have high-speed internet here, young people who have gone to different parts of the country and even the world have told us that they will come back and begin to, earn a living.
Evidently, the ICT world is evidently one of limitless opportunities. Pardon me, sir, but we must anchor the discussion at this point. That's all that we have time for because we're totally out of time. But of course, we hope that there'll be more opportunities in no distant time to have you talk more about the possibilities of this investment in ICT technology by the Soludo administration. Thank you very much, sir. We've been talking with Mr. Chike Maduekwe, who is the chairman, Anambra Physical Planning Board. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And we touch again yet on agriculture. It's another farming season as 25 villages in Amagu community in Ikwa local government area of Ebonyi state came together to celebrate in a special way their common heritage through the performance of the rich culture and tradition. The ceremony, which took place at Indiofoke Amagu playground, brought sons and daughters as well as visitors from far and wide to be part of the event. It's the annual Aji Ereke Cultural Festival, which marks the beginning of the farming season in Amagu community in Ikwa local government area of Ebonyi state. Governor Francis Nwifu, represented by the Deputy Governor Patricia Obila, arrives in company of National Assembly members, top government functionaries, as traditional rulers, elders, the youth and cultural groups are all gathered to celebrate their common heritage at the community square. Community leaders harp on the essence of the culture, which encourages peaceful coexistence, and in this instance, the revival of the culture, Aji Ereke culture. And in this instance, the revival of the Aji Ereke Cultural Festival has ended 15 years of rivalry with neighboring communities in Cross River State.
This culture today is celebration of unity. Here, we eat together, we drink together, we dance together. No demarcation, that is to show how our culture is. And everyone that is in over
the essence of Aji Festival is that it marks the beginning of the farming season. By the time Aji is celebrated, everybody in this community is already aware that there is the time to go to the farm and cultivate for the year. It also gives us opportunity to interact and unite ourselves and discuss some other issues that will enhance development of our area.
The ceremony is seen as a way of blessing the land for a bountiful harvest ahead of the planting season. And that's it on the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. Join us again when we bring you another edition of Newsroom series covering yet another part of the country. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.